there's an attitude about pigs that they're disgusting, they're just dirty creatures, and they kind of just want them dead. And I've talked to people that go helicopter hunting. And I go, well, what do you do with all the pigs? And they're like, you leave them there. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I'm like, that doesn't seem...
Under the dense, heavy fog of the Atchafalaya Basin, a silent invasion is tearing Louisiana apart. Over 900,000 wild hogs now swarm all 64 parishes, turning our paradise into a biological war zone. These massive beasts use the deep, treacherous swamps as an impenetrable shield, completely outsmarting humans while wrecking everything in their path. They plow through wetland routes, collapse vital riverbanks, and dump dangerous bacteria like E. coli directly into coastal waters. On dry land, they devour every oak acorn in sight, starving our native deer, and mercilessly wipe out wild turkey chicks and ground-nesting birds. Local hunter Buck Miller took me out to his favorite swamp track last fall, pointed at the churned-up mud, and whispered, "They ain't just animals anymore, man. They're a wrecking crew." But just as everyone thought the hogs had won this fight, something utterly insane happened in the heart of Atchafalaya. Overnight, an entire sounder of hogs vanished into thin air without a single gunshot fired. What nightmarish force cleared them out? Hit that subscribe button right now to uncover the terrifying truth behind this swamp mystery. For 11 straight nights, a quiet panic rippled through the research team working the Atchafalaya Basin. Biologist Sarah Jenkins sat in the cab of her Ford F-150, staring at a digital tablet displaying 31 red dots spread across a 12-mile stretch of swamp corridor. Those dots represented high-definition trail cameras that had captured 40 to 60 feral hog passes every single night for the past 2 years. But suddenly, the data dropped to zero. The feeders sat untouched, coated in undisturbed dust. Deep mud trails that usually looked like heavily trafficked highways were suddenly dry, with green weeds pushing through the fresh tracks. The hogs had simply vanished without a trace, leaving the scientists scratching their heads. When Sarah and her crew waded into the murky swamp to investigate, they did not find bullet shells or tire tracks from illegal poachers. Instead, they stumbled upon heavy footprints deeply pressed into the mud. The Louisiana black bear had returned. This native giant, protected under conservation efforts since the early 2000s, was quietly staging a massive comeback. But these bears were far too smart to pick a fight with a 250-pound boar armed with razor-sharp tusks. Instead, they relied on their incredible sense of smell to hunt smarter. Sarah pointed to a torn-up brush pile near the water edge and whispered, "Look here, man." The bear did not hunt the boar. It tracked down the farrowing nest. By pinpointing where the sows gave birth, the black bears broke into the hidden nests and wiped out entire litters of piglets before they even had a chance to walk. They systematically destroyed the next generation of hogs right in the cradle, cutting off the swamp invaders at their roots without taking a single dangerous blow from an adult hog. However, the bears were not working alone in this shadow war. The camera logs soon revealed another crafty predator moving through the dark, small packs and pairs of coyotes. While the bears targeted the stationary nests, the coyotes staked out the edges of the thickets. They waited patiently for young piglets that were just learning to trek through the mud with their mothers. The moment a slow or curious piglet drifted a few feet away from the sounder, the coyote struck with blinding speed. Together, the bear and the coyote formed an unintended but deadly native alliance. The bears crushed the nests, scattering the terrified hogs into unfamiliar territory, which created easy targets for the waiting coyotes. This double-barreled threat shattered the peace of the hog population. Beyond the immediate deaths of the piglets, the constant 24/7 stalking triggered severe chronic stress among the surviving adults. Sarah noticed the signs right away: skittish movement, weight loss, and extreme paranoia. That unrelenting psychological pressure wrecked the immune systems of the hogs. Latent diseases like the pseudorabies virus suddenly flared up, sweeping through the weakened herds and causing adult hogs to drop dead on their own. For a brief moment, it felt like Mother Nature had finally stepped in to save Louisiana. The alliance between the returning black bear and the relentless coyote seemed like the ultimate weapon we had been praying for. Yet, despite this brutal dynamic duo wiping out piglets left and right, the overall hog crisis across the state barely flinched. How could two top-tier native predators fail to stop this biological plague? The terrifying truth is that wild hogs possess a reproductive biological algorithm so relentless, so overwhelming, that even nature itself cannot eat fast enough to keep up with their numbers. To truly understand why predators and hunters alike are hitting a brick wall, you have to face the terrifying biological math behind these creatures. Wild hogs are the most prolific large mammals in North America. Given an abundant food supply in the lush Louisiana wetlands, their population can literally double in size every 4 months. It is an unstoppable biological machine. Local wildlife agent Marcus Vance pulled out a worn notebook while standing at an abandoned check station in Rapides Parish and pointed at the numbers scribbled on the page. Marcus shook his head and said, "People think we are just fighting a bunch of dirty wild pigs out here in the woods. Man, we are fighting a relentless self-replicating algorithm that never sleeps. The speed at which they reproduce defies logic. A young female pig, or gilt, reaches sexual maturity at just 6 to 8 months old. Before she even finishes growing into a full-sized adult, she is already pregnant with her first litter. Her gestation period is ridiculously short, exactly 114 days. Ask any seasoned farmer in the South, and they will tell you the old rule of thumb for hog pregnancy: 3 months, 3 weeks, and 3 days. Once mature, a single sow easily pumps out 2 litters every single year. While an average litter yields 5 to 6 piglets, healthy sows routinely give birth to 10 or even 12 offspring at a time. When you run those numbers through a population model, the reality becomes horrifying. Statisticians and wildlife biologists calculated that in order to simply keep the wild hog population stagnant, meaning not growing by a single-digit, humans and natural predators combined must eliminate 70 to 75% of the total hog population across the entire state every single year. That is where human effort completely collapses. Right now, even with recreational hunting, night operations, and aerial culling, hunters in Louisiana manage to remove less than 35 to 40% annually. We are not even reaching half of the target required to keep them at bay. Every time a hunter takes out a few hogs on his property, 3 times as many are born deep in the swamp to take their place. To make matters worse, traditional free-for-all hunting actually backfires and fuels the crisis. When an overzealous hunter shoots the dominant matriarch sow of a sounder, thinking he took down the leader, he unwittingly triggers a biological disaster. The social hierarchy collapses, causing the remaining young females to enter heat much earlier than normal to fill the void. Instead of shrinking the sounder, removing the leader causes a sudden explosion of multiple smaller litters scattered across the wood. At the same time, heavy hunting pressure does not exterminate the hogs, it just makes them infinitely smarter. They quickly learn human patterns, ditch their daylight routines, and transform into purely nocturnal ghosts. They retreat into the deepest, thickest mud where no foot soldier can follow, venturing out only under the pitch-black cover of night to feed. Our failure to outsmart this biological math has backed Louisiana into a corner. As these numbers spiral out of control, the state is forced to pay a jaw-dropping price, a catastrophic disaster, measured not just in millions of dollars lost, but in terrifying hazards landing directly on your dinner plate every day. If you are loving this deep dive into the wild secrets of the American wilderness, hit that subscribe button right now and turn on notifications so you never miss an episode. The sheer cost of this unchecked explosion is mind-boggling, and the damage hits way harder than most folks realize. A recent study by the LSU Ag Center estimated that wild hogs inflict a staggering $91.1 million in economic losses every single year in Louisiana alone. That includes $66.2 million in direct agricultural losses and another $24.9 million in non-production costs, like repairing destroyed equipment and torn-up land. Nationally, that annual destruction bill easily blows past $1.5 to $2 billion. Third-generation farmer Jim Thibodeau stood beside his battered tractor in Iberia Parish, looking out over a destroyed sugarcane field that looked like an artillery shell had hit it. Jim spat on the ground and said, "You work all year, sweat through 90-degree humidity, and then one sounder comes through overnight and tears up 50 acres like a bulldozer. They don't just eat the cane, they rip the roots out, so nothing grows back next season." Across southern Louisiana, hogs plow through fields of sugarcane and collapse the soft earth levees surrounding rice paddies in the southwest. Worse yet, they wade straight into commercial crawfish ponds, devouring the prized harvest and destroying the fragile mud levees holding the water in place. Their destruction is not limited to farms. It has literally spilled over into military aviation history. Back in 1988, at Jacksonville Naval Air Station in Florida, a 300-pound wild boar managed to slip past perimeter fences and trotted out onto the active runway. An F-16 Fighting Falcon jet was touching down at high speed when it collided head-on with the animal. The impact ripped off the landing gear, causing the $16 million fighter jet to skid off the tarmac in flames and total the aircraft. It was a bizarre, terrifying reminder that these animals are a legitimate threat to national infrastructure. Even more alarming is the silent biohazard they bring straight to the human food chain. Wild hogs carry at least 30 different infectious diseases and nearly 40 types of parasites. In Louisiana, tests show that roughly 3.5% of wild hogs carry swine brucellosis, a dangerous bacterial infection that causes severe flu-like symptoms and reproductive failure in domestic livestock and humans. The most lethal demonstration of this biothreat occurred back in 2006 during a massive E. coli outbreak linked to packaged fresh spinach. Over 205 people across 26 states fell violently ill. 31 suffered acute kidney failure, and 3 people lost their lives. When federal investigators traced the strain back to a farm in San Benito County, California, they discovered the shocking culprit. Wild hogs had broken through farm fences, feeding in the spinach fields, and shedding deadly E. coli bacteria directly onto the crops. Faced with ruined farmland, compromised military bases, and deadly bacteria on grocery store shelves, humans realized that traditional trapping and basic hunting rifles had failed completely. To stand a fighting chance against a creature this smart, resilient, and destructive, the battle had to evolve into an entirely new era, an era powered by cutting-edge military-grade technology. When you are fighting an enemy ranked as the 4th smartest animal on the planet, standard hunting techniques simply fall flat. Research shows wild hogs can master joystick tasks faster than a 3-year-old human child. They learn fast, remember human tricks for years, and adapt instantly to pressure. To beat an opponent that clever, humans had to ditch basic wood traps and step directly into high-tech warfare. The first major breakthrough came from the skies with high-resolution thermal imaging drones. Professional trapper Tyler Vance stood at the edge of an overgrown soybean field in Street, Landry Parish, holding a high-tech drone controller with a bright screen. Tyler adjusted his cap and said, "Back in the day, we spent weeks wandering through tick-infested brush just guessing where these hogs slept. Now, I launched this bird, and within 5 minutes, I can see every heat signature hiding under half a mile of thick oak canopy." These industrial-grade drones fly 45-minute nighttime missions, picking up thermal signatures from up to 500 meters away. Even through dense swamp leaves, they map out hog-hot spots in real time without disturbing the sounder, giving ground crews precise GPS coordinates so they can move in with surgical accuracy instead of wasting time and fuel. While drones dominate the skies, the real killer on the ground is the M.I.N.E. system, short for Manually Initiated Nuisance Elimination. This is not your grandfather's wooden box trap. The M.I.N.E. system is a massive 35-foot circular corral made of heavy-duty steel panels, featuring an 8-foot wide gate. Crucially, the gate has no bottom threshold bar resting on the ground. That seamless entry removes any hesitation or suspicion, making the hogs feel like they are just strolling into another open patch of woods. At the heart of the setup is an infrared cellular camera mounted right above the trap site. When motion triggers the camera, it instantly streams live high-definition video directly to an operator's smartphone miles away. The secret to success here is absolute patience. Tyler watched his phone screen as 6 young pigs entered the enclosure, followed by 2 cautious sows. A novice trapper would have dropped the gate immediately, but Tyler held his thumb steady off the trigger screen. "If you trip that gate early," Tyler explained, "you catch 3 pigs and scare 10 others back into the woods. Those escapees become trap smart overnight, and they will teach every piglet they ever have to avoid metal gates for the rest of their lives. You have to get every single one." Tyler waited 20 painstaking minutes until the screen confirmed that 100% of the Sounder 14 hogs in total were inside, heads down, feeding calmly. With a single tap on his phone, a radio signal fired, and the heavy steel gate slammed shut with a thunderous crunch that echoed through the swamp. Catching the entire Sounder at once eliminates the risk of educated survivors passing evasive tactics down to the next generation. High-tech tools have given us incredible local victories, wiping out entire Sounders in a single night. Yet, as land managers celebrate these wins, a bigger question hangs over the state. Are thermal drones and cellular traps really enough to end a statewide crisis? Or does the ultimate secret to victory lie in an unholy alliance between human technology and an ancient natural force we almost wiped out ourselves? If you are enjoying this breakdown of wild nature and survival battles, smash that subscribe button right now and join our community for more amazing stories. Technology gave us the upper hand, but the real breakthrough came when we finally stopped fighting Mother Nature and started working alongside her. Through integrated wild pig control, Louisiana combined thermal drones and smart traps with the natural power of returning black bears and coyotes. These native predators act as a free, round-the-clock defense force, wiping out piglets before they can ever multiply. Just 6 weeks after the hogs were pushed back from the Atchafalaya corridor, something beautiful happened. Lush green vegetation carpeted the creek banks once again, locking the soil in place and stopping the erosion. And right there on the water edge, 3 great blue heron nests appeared in the tall reeds, thriving peacefully for the first time in 2 years. Standing on that riverbank taught me a profound life lesson. We often think we can force our way through every crisis with sheer control and technology. But true restoration happens when we step back, drop our egos, and give nature the respect and space she needs to heal herself. When we work with the world instead of against it, balance always finds its way back. What are your thoughts on this wild swamp battle? Drop a comment below and let me know how your hometown handles invasive wildlife. Do not forget to hit that subscribe button to join our community, and I will see you guys in the next video.